Right, but oh, whatever. Chapter 3. Chapter 3. Alright, let's go. Phone call. It's my wife. The phone suddenly rang. I woke up in a hurry. The clock read 9 p.m. Damn it. As I passed the time I was supposed to report in, I picked up the receiver. Akasa-sama, you have a call from an outside line. Shall I connect you? It's from a co-worker named, Kanio-sama. I knew it. I didn't call in, so they phoned me. Sorry, please put them through. Understood. I'll connect you, so please hang up the receiver for the time being. After I put down the receiver for a few seconds, the phone began to ring again. Yes, hello? This is Akasa-kun. This is, Kanio, good work out there. You didn't call in for your regular report, so we called instead. What's the situation? In the lecture for later, my senior co-worker got straight to the point. Today I went to the village proper under the guise of a tourist. I managed to establish a contact with the mayor and several other cool members of the Defense Alliance. I wasn't able to ask them anything, but I left a good impression. I was able to make a bridge for my investigation from tomorrow onwards. I see. It looks like things are going smoothly. Kasaka, you seem rather naive at sometimes, but that might have worked in your favor. I guess you made some good progress for now. I don't have the experience to make a comparison, so I don't know if it's good or not. I think things went well for today, though. Did you find anything out from the preference or local offices? Does it look at the Higurashi defense analysis unrelated to this incident? I still didn't know. I should have been able to say that immediately. I only had to say that, but for some reason, I hesitated. I am still investigating, so I don't know what to say yet. I see. Should you let us know as soon as possible? I think you understand, but after tonight it'll have been a full 4 days since the kidnapping happened. They didn't set a time limit, but it's obvious that time is not on our side. I think you know that. Yeah, I know. I'll investigate a lot quicker. While still being careful about it. Okay, be sure to look after yourself. You're dealing with a violent organization here. It might be dangerous to let your guard down. If you feel that you're in danger, contact me immediately. Sure thing. In that case, I can get the local public safety office prepared for you to help you. Thank you. I'll do my best. Anything else to report? I reported several bits of supplementary information, but at the very end I decided to ask, how's the investigation going on your end? Hmm? Everyone's doing their best here, but we're not making much progress. After all, the number of organizations we're investigating is vast. So if you find out the one you're investigating isn't clear, we'll have you return to Tokyo to assist some of the other officers. The chief is saying to dig up what you can on Higurashi, but I don't think a residential anti-dam protest group has any relation to the incident at hand. Letting someone out just to investigate a single group makes me cringe, really. At this point, he was just complaining. He was just telling me to stop taking time, enjoying my trip, to finish up and get back quickly. I'll try and resolve this as soon as I can. Thanks, I'm counting on you. Well then, if there's nothing else, I'm hanging up. Okay, that's all I have. As we were about to end the call, he scolded me thoroughly for being late with my regular report. After that, I hung up the phone and spawned out on the bed. Come to think of it, I hadn't heard anything from Ushi. They're supposed to contact me about a time and place to meet with the informant tonight. I thought about getting angry with Ushi in retaliation for being scolded for forgetting my daily report. Come to think of it though, Uchi didn't really say anything other than that he was going to call me tonight. Waiting for a phone call when you didn't know what time it was coming was in itself rather difficult. Right away? Just when I thought that the phone rang. I picked up the receiver in a hurry. Hello? Well, this is a surprise. Akasa, you're pretty quick to answer the phone. You're a regular user of date chat lines or something. Are you a regular user of date chat lines or something? I've never ever tried something silly like that. The way you overreact is rather interesting. Wanna go to a place where you can have a bit of loot from? I'll pass, so could you please get to the point, Ushi-san? Really? Too bad, we'll leave that for next time then. Really? Too bad? Oh, well, I'll get to the point. I put that game by mistake. Many of the executives of the Higurashi Defense Alliance had a lot of sway in the neighboring regions. Even in Akinomiya, there were a lot of people with relations to in the village. That's why meeting in the Shinibo Market District far from Akinomiya was a matter of course. Akasa-san, over here. Did you get a little lost? Coming from the north entrance might have been a bit of a detour, but it was easy to give directions from there. And I'm sorry for being late. Did you eat dinner already? Yeah, I already did. I'm pretty sure they would be tracking you, Ushi, so they really know about this meeting place, but whatever. Well then, shall we go to a place where we can get a drink? Do you prefer Western alcohol? Or maybe steak? Would you prefer a place with or without women? Don't worry about it, I don't drink while I'm on the job. Hearing that the man that Ushi had brought along bent backwards as he gasped, tapping Ushi on the shoulder. See? Isn't he just adorable? In exchange, can you give him a little bit extra? That money all came from this guy's wallet, you know? The man that Ushi had brought seemed almost like a ticket scraper or bookie. Even his appearance was dubious. The informant grinned deviously. Hey boy, how much did you give this guy? It looks like there was quite a bit skimmed off the top, you know? Ushi's handing fees was included as I took that into account. It seems the informant had expected a more extravagant attraction on my part. When I responded matter-of-factly, he realized that I was an entirely different type of person than he was. But rather than putting a distance between us, it seemed that I had piqued his interest. I said it, didn't I? He's the serious type. But, do you see, Akasa-san? People in a line of work like ours can really use their wealth or experience to their advantage. I'm wondering how the experience of drinking in a bar with women would work to my advantage. Ha 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 ha. The informant, unable to contain himself, touched his stomach as he coughed, heedless of the people watching. Oh lordy, Akasa-san, you really can't judge people. That's what education does for you. Ushi-san, you've been drinking somewhere, haven't you? Are you drunk? What's wrong with drinking when I'm off duty? Even if you're working, I'm not. Ushi was the sort that would fool around to begin with, was in such a good mood I couldn't figure out a way to deal with him. Completely different than me, who had come worried about getting every bit of information I could. Ushi-san, after taking so much money, you were supposed to get me information worth at least that much. I thought this, but then realized I was getting my information from the informant, so it didn't matter how drunk Ushi was. There was nothing I could complain about, but I still felt slightly riled up. Ushi-san and the informant. There was no doubt a fake name, but he introduced himself as Saito, led the way deeper and deeper into the back streets of the market district. Even though the market was bustling, a couple of turns off the main street, and you were in a desolate alleyway. Ushi started climbing a set of stairs on the side of a seedy building. There weren't any sort of signage, so I couldn't tell if the place was open or if it was even a store at all. Don't worry, this isn't a dubious place. Those words coming from Ushi's mouth had absolutely no credibility. Ding dong, why is it ding dong? Beyond the door was thankfully a typical Mahjong parlor. I was relieved that it wasn't the sort of suspicious place I had to be on guard about. Welcome, welcome. Oh, Ushi-san, it's been a while. Want to join? There'll be a free spot soon. No. I'm here with the group today, so it's fine. Oh, sorry to keep you waiting. Mahjong is a game played with 4 people. It seemed that a middle-aged man who was going to be our 4th player had already arrived and was waiting for us. You're late, Karudo. I was just thinking of going home. Ushi made an excuse for why we had taken so long. Eventually realizing that I was a new face, the other man grew interested. That's Akasa-san. He's a rookie who came all the way from Tokyo on assignment. I have high hopes for him. Boy, can you play Mahjong? Well, I played a bit when I was still a student. Soto and the old man cracked in unison. The plot to sucker me out of my money was painfully obvious. I thought you'd be a bit tired from your assignments, leaving you on edge all the time. So I thought I'd give you a night to cleanse your spirit. I know asking this now may sound stupid, but we're betting money on this, aren't we? Well, you see, just a little. It's just a little for funsies. But it doesn't matter who loses because after this, we're using that money to go play at a very nice place. Go and play? And at what kind of place would you be doing that? Without reservation, the two of them started suggesting places like cabinets, high-class clubs, and even brothels. At the very least, they were the types of places that you couldn't go with money that was just for funsies. Rishi-san took all my money from the other day, and I also have work to do, so I can't stay for long. Then all you have to do is win. If you win, then you can use that money to pay for this table, and you can talk to a Kurudo about work or whatever. No matter what happened, it seemed like they were intent on playing Mahjong for free. I would have to fasten my resolve a bit. If I was going to be underestimated like this forever, it was going to get in the way of my work. I understand then. I'll play with you guys for just a bit. If I win, you guys don't get any of the money, and or get to go to any of those dirty places. When we talk about work right away. Get ha 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 ha. Yeah, bring it on. If I win, we're heading straight to the Blue Mermaid on Flower Road. Oh, that place where the girls dress up in gym clothes and made uniforms. This old leecher here likes that place too. Of course, we're going to hop between all the places where they keep the girls coming. Slurp. What about you, Sato? And I prefer a place where we can drink quietly, like a nice choir where you can play footsie with a bunny girl. Last time we went drinking, you pulled the tail right off the bunny girl, didn't you? Didn't you end up having to pay for that? You only ended up charging what you called a tailoring fee. What a lively table this was. I could tell the other customers were glaring at us while we loudly continued our crude conversation. Speaking of which, the fact that they assumed I was the same was a bit disheartening. Rishi had taken all the money I'd brought, so everything I had left was out of my own pocket. In addition, there wasn't that much left of that either. If I kept on hanging around like this, around him like this, though his gaunting my wallet would disappear into the night. I had to somehow win and return the conversation to my job. But these people, no matter how you looked at it, were pretty good. Sorry, Yuki. Nah, well then I'll just pull Richie here. Well, the old man and Sato probably won't fall for this silly Richie. I wonder if a Saka-san will spit out what I need. His teammate Kurudu's hand is pretty is probably holding something like that, huh? In that case, this one ought to get through 3. Oh, someone's pretty good. He's quietly trying to use one of my safe tiles to complete his hand, isn't he? It seems that Saka-san has at least learned the ropes when it comes to guarding against someone's Richi, but that'll be his downfall. What's wrong, boy? Would you help me up and discard? You're not sure about anything that Kurudu-san's already thrown away. Should be safe now. Oh, Asaka-san's pretty fretting over this one. It was glaring obvious that he had taken the safe tile to discard. He didn't want to throw it away because it would move him farther from completing his hands. Why am I not Asaka-san anymore? It sounds like I'm someone else. They're so nice when they're young and innocent. Come on, hurry up and throw out the kicker. If he gave me the winning tile, we'd head to an establishment where I could do all sorts of things of licking and sucking. If he gave the old man his winning tile, we would go straight to the place with main rumors. This would go through, right? He looked up as he hesitated to throw a tile out. That was, ooh, too bad. Hey now, that's a dangerous tile, you know. Could we do that? Does that go through? Yeah, it will. Seems this time you were lucky. As long as the round kept going, I could win out of the draw. Like 1v3, I guess. But after that, Saka-san managed to luckily avoid throwing any bad tiles, and somehow the round managed to end without anyone completing a hand. Tapper, Milton. Saka-san had keenly anticipated that 2 players were in Ryuchi and decided to play it safe. What a cool-headed way of playing. Now let's see what kind of hand does Saka have. When the round ended with probably no one winning in Mahjong, anyone in Tepa had to show their hands. But if you're not in Tepa, you have no obligation to reveal it. Your average beginner would normally show their hands, even if they wanted Tepa and start a promotion. But how if that tile came, they would be in Tepa. But he didn't. Being stingy? How did you do, boy? Come on, show me. Soto reached over to grip the hand that Saka-san had casually placed face down. What the hell is this? There's nowhere near Tepa. Was the Saka-san totally bad at this after all? Well then, as the other one compared the tiles, Saka-san's hand to the sky is full a positive expression across his face. Boy, you went Tepa right around here, weren't you? Why did you break your hand? The higher mastery tiles suddenly got more valuable, so he suppressed them. Even though with us, Rishi's Richi, the chance there were safe tiles had increased. It would have been no trouble if he discarded were rather discard, but he went out of his way to keep them out of play. Oh? So Karudu's temper was no good from the start, in other words. If it wasn't such a high-level trap, I would have thought that you were waiting for me to throw out the winning tile. But the more concerning thing is that you were in temper and didn't say anything. But when did you realize I was in temper around here? You threw out 4 tiles in a row immediately. At first I thought you were just discarding redundant tiles, but I noticed you didn't go up and you realized you were waiting for something. Saka-san, you? Saka-san, when did you first start playing Mahjong? I never did, except in high school and university. Now let's continue. Since Sato-san wasn't in temper and the round ended without a winner, then I'm next, right? The next dealer. It seems like Saka-san is really aware of how the game flows. We thought we were just gonna eat him alive, but it looks like it wasn't gonna be that so easy. Ishi-san, looks like you're going for the bamboo tiles. Should I put play in some? Throw some in play? This boy. Karudu, don't back down. As long as I can get 3 good tiles. Sato-san, do you think you can do it? Damn it. I'll just force you to go for a cheap Tanyo. Chi. Straight? Oh, sorry, I'm going to pawn that tile. Well, now you're going to pull the other kind after he declared a straight, trying to override and interfere. Well, you're getting used to this. Oh no, I couldn't even compare to you guys who've been playing since I was born. That's a game, fun, triples, 2 red Dora and 3 more Dora. I have no idea what they're talking about, but okay. I'm the dealer, so this will cost you quite a bit. Yeah, nah, Saka-san, nice job. Now, we have to get serious, won't we? Well, can you get serious about handing over your points? I'm tired, so let's end this quickly. Saka-san, this is somehow unreal. Nah, Before I realized it, there was an ominous cold air emitting beneath Saka-san's feet. Help, place. The 2, 5, and 8 Mazus are laughing at you. This is the damn it for you. Karudu, finish it. You have to end the boy's turn as the dealer. I hate to admit it, but it seems like the best option. There it is. 1. Simple straight, 1 Dora. Sorry, headbutts. 1. Straight. Headbutts? You damn brat. Brat. So, you would play that sloppy against a brat? Guess that means you're worse than a brat yourself. So interesting, the way you guys call people things like that and boy. Sasaki-kun, this is you, isn't it? It feels like you're a totally different person. You thought that I, being a sucker, will let you drink some good booze tonight. Seems like you're a little off your mark. 1, triple straight, red Dora and another Dora. Whoa, you actually did it. That's why I'm saying you guys are slacking. No matter how you look at it, you have to be able to reach such an obvious 3-way weight. Saka-san chuckled as he rested his chin in his hands. That pose was so fitting, it was almost scary. Hey Karudu, this isn't what we discussed. Who the hell said he was a naive sucker right for the picking? Who could it be? Yushi-san, this is bad. If it keeps going like this, we're seriously going to lose. Saka-san, for you to make me get serious, looks like you really want to be milk dry. Pawn, that sounds nice. One more time. Pawn. Saka-san, Saka-kun was almost singing at this point. Tiles had open all pin tiles. You can't be serious. Are you really going to go for the flush? Pawn, boy, are you right in the head? You opened 4 sets. You only have 1 tile left, you know. That's right. Did you know? Waiting on a single tile is the hardest thing to read. Are you an idiot? With that much of your hand revealed, you don't think it would give you a tile you need, do you? I know what you're doing, Asaka-san. That's not flush or heartless, is it? The fact that you pull pawn 4 times means you're in a position for an all triple hands. By now, you're far away in the lead. You're trying to show flushing a go as to giving you triples, aren't you? If that's what you're saying, wanna try throwing out some pin? The left 5 tiles in your hand, Ushi-san. They're pin tiles you're reluctant to throw away, aren't they? But why don't you try discarding them in order from left to right? You must be joking. Is he a Mahjong god? If not, he had to be the main character of a manga or something. At that moment, the old man sent me a sign under the table. Well, he's the main character in this chapter, with the visual novel, I guess. The message was simple and clear. Karudu, do it, crush him. I don't like to cheer against kids like this, idiot. After being disrespected like this, you can't pull back now. Well, I'm responsible for what happens, you know. Go ahead. Here we go, boy. Richie will go open. I'm waiting for 1, 4, 7 pins. Most likely the tile that Asaka-san was waiting for was one of those tiles. This Asaka-san was no longer capable of winning the hand. When I drew from the wall, I switched out the tile that Asaka-san would draw. The tile that I would pull in was the 1 pin. Out of the tiles that old man was waiting on, Asaka-san discarded it a little while ago, so there was no threat of it being the one he needed. Come on, it's your turn, boy. I knew he was troubled that the one tile he drew as the 1 pin. Of course he couldn't discard it. Boy, you must be aware, but if you discard it into an open Richie, it's worth the limit, you know. You don't have to tell me that. The tile that came to Asaka-san's hand was an honor tile. Phew, ain't that something? There's only one north wind tile left, isn't there? You were counting on a really rough rate, weren't you? But with this, Asaka-san's fate was decided. That. You're lucky you're safe. But your hand only has a single tile. Do you think you'll be able to run away the rest of this round? So it's gonna be like that. Asaka-san glared at the old man with a discerning eye. This guy had a pretty good instinct. Did he figure out we were cheating? It's up to Asaka-san to step or two ahead of us. Cool. You think we can stop after we come to this far? Next? Make him draw it. The next one Asaka-san would draw was the 7 pins. With that, it would be settled. No matter which one he discarded, he would play right into his old man's hands. An unavoidable payout. When I drew my tile, I sneakily swapped Asaka-san's. Achoo! Crash. What? Asaka-san suddenly sneezed, crashing the wall of tiles in front of him. Hey, what are you? So I accidentally knocked out the wall when I sneezed. There's a penalty for that, right? I'm the dealer, so 4,000 to everyone? Or is it the penalty my point sticks? Wah! Unable to hold back, I gulped. Asaka-san, knowing he was going to be cornered a second time and unable to escape, he took the drastic measure of knocking over his own wall. You're a good boy to get away from a full payout like that. Gahahaha. Rishi-san, could you not bother putting me in such an obvious trap? If we were at bar, but this would have been the point where I flipped the table. Oh no, sorry, I underestimated you. For some reason you're really good, aren't you? Answer me honestly. You got a lot of experience where you were younger, didn't you? I played quite a bit around Owasada and Takiba. The place I was accustomed to going to had high rates and they chewed me out. I made a woman who would become my wife pretty angry, so I washed my hands of it all. Raised the stakes too high? How much were you paying for it at the time? It depends on who I was paying, but it was more expensive when I paid in Himatsubushi. The largest stake I played with was about 20 times the standard rate. 20 times? What kind of stakes were those? Did you have Yakuza at your table or pro baseball players? What's this? Kurudo, you buffoon. Where did you pull this professional from? I give up. Jeez. Boy, it's your win. I surrender. Thank you very much, it was an honor. Nah ha ha ha, oh my. Asaka-san, your personality really changes when you play. Why do you even have a day job? We'd have no problem living as a freelancer. To be a pro Mahjong player, you need both talent and luck. I didn't have anything like that supporting me. Luck is luck. With someone of your skill, I think you'll be able to make it pretty far. Normal luck doesn't cut it. Pulling a con and 1 time out 3, you can aim to win on the extra draw with full draw, that kind of luck. Asaka-san, if you can judge something like that, you're already bordering on the supernatural. You know, there's plenty of people who can do that without cheating or superpowers. There's a person I met in Shinjuku who would get duels every time you blinked. It was as strong as a demon. There was a pro I played with in Yariko who would draw the tiles he needed immediately after pulling Richie like it was an everyday thing. I don't have that kind of luck. What kind of folks were those? They weren't named Ryo or Satoshi by any chance. Well then, is it alright if I'm declared the overall winner then? Yeah, we totally lost. I lost. It's been a while since I lost this big. Still, when you were playing boy, you were pretty into it. It was kinda scary. I hear that a lot. I don't mean to change gears like that though. Did I really look that scary? Yep. The two of them nodded empathetically in agreement. So that was Asaka-kun, the Mahjong prodigy. Before he goes home for his assignment, maybe I could have him go play a high-stakes table in my place, but it's not good to get too greedy. Well then, nothing for it. Here's a promise. We'll break up our little a nice steady group right now. Sorry about this, old man. That's it for tonight. Nothing you can do. I'm going home to sleep. My body won't last like this. Problems at work? Oh no, he's the foreman of the primary construction site at the Himazawa Dam. He's butting heads with the residents every day. It's a rough business. Around next year I might be in charge of the second site as well. The foreman that was killed in the first year? Oh, I see. Hmm. That's this year then, isn't it? Huh. What's the next year? Or one of those two. I heard that Karuji-san was pissing blood. Because I heard the dam project ended with his death. He won't hold out much longer. You'll be alright, old man. Your skull is thicker than it looks. I'm not exactly a saint, you know. There's times they just make my blood boil. I especially can't stand dealing with that bratty daughter of Shinazaki's. I think one of these days I'm going to rearrange her face. Now. At least the pay is good, right? Which one, Yan? Or Shion? I heard the wages were pretty, exorbitant. Of course they were. Of course they are. If the pay was cheap, nobody would hang around that god-awful job. Hey, Kurudu, exactly when are the police going to tell all the villagers to shove off? There'll be a notice or of eviction from the government, right? Maybe. I wonder when it will happen. The young man who identified himself as the foreman of the Himazawa Dam reviewed a few complaints until he felt better and then left quietly. Well then, let's go. I'll leave the rest to Sato-san. Hiroshi-san, are you going home? If I'm here, I'll just be in the way, won't I? Besides, the one who bought Sato's service was you. I didn't pay for my share. Hiroshi-san was kind of sketchy, but he was strangely considerate about some things. I felt quite a bit of a gap between myself and Yoshi's generation from that part of him. I didn't comprehend. Then boy, no, can't call Mr. Mahjong here boy anymore. So Asaka-san is alright with you? Is Asaka-kun alright with you? Yeah. And then Asaka-kun, shall we go? Well then, Asaka-san, later. If you're having any troubles, you can count on me anytime. I don't have any more money to pay you, you know that? You can just, give back a little of what I lost tonight. Nah. She seemingly not having his fill of playing around, but without overstaying his welcome, disappeared into the night. Higurashi, when they cry. I'm a pro Mahjong player. Apparently. I don't play Mahjong though. As I already said. Confusing. The informant named Sato-san had me get into his car before he set off. He favored narrow roads and made numerous short left turns. Checking if we're being followed? Yeah, you know a lot about this. Checking to see if you're being tailed by marking left turns was a rather classic technique. If it was just a single pursuer, you could confirm it that way. But if you're being tailed by a team, this archaic method wouldn't let you shake them off. Of course, doing it anyway was better than not. I didn't hear anything from the boss as to who you are, Saka-san. You related to the police? If you're familiar with checking for being tailed, the only possibility I can think of is like a private detective. If it's not something I have to say, I would like to refuse to answer that question. My. Ever since we played Mahjong, you seem a lot more mature. I wonder where the hesitant person went from when we first met. I smiled wearily. Looking back now, I had to be a little grateful for being made to play Mahjong. Instead, I was able to release some tension. Eventually, Sato confirmed that there was no cars following us, slipped outside the city. We were on a pitch-black country road, unable to see anything besides the lights outside. The only thing I was able to hear was the hum of the cars, air conditioning, and the chirping of the insects and frogs. I heard from the boss that you want to hear a bit about Himazawa village, yeah? Like about the old houses, known as the three families who controlled the place, or that right now. It's pretty much the Shinozaki family running things. If you know that much already, I'll cut out the introductions. Then, if you would, can you confirm or deny if the Onigoichi Defense Alliance is involved with the kidnapping of Minister Inugi's grandson? Sato checked the rearview mirror one more time to confirm there wasn't anyone behind before speaking. Last night, the Shinozaki main house held a family council. Did you hear about it from the boss? Last night. Okay. When did I get here? Oh, that was when I, met Riku-chan yesterday. Because then I went to sleep at the end of the night, yeah, okay. Now, if it was a normal meeting, then it would, just be all the relatives coming together over a nice cup of tea or something. But the family council held by the main house isn't quite so relaxed. Do do bum bum bum. Family council held by the Shinzaki main house. That would be a meeting between those who truly control Himazawa village. They wouldn't be talking about private family matters. It would be about the whole village as a whole, about organizing activities against the dam project. Among other things, everything would be decided in there. In reality, they were deciding the fate of the village. The head of the meeting was Obiyo Shinazaki, more or less called Empress Shinazaki. As the ultimate decision maker of the clan, she was to be feared and respected. Infirm with old age, she was often unable to stand on her own, but her words carried enough weight to sway the fate of the village. It seemed that lately she had grown weak, and on days where she wasn't feeling well, remained bedridden. Family councils that occurred while she wasn't feeling well took place with her on the floor, in the middle of a dignified Japanese-style room, seated in a futon, only the upper half of her body staying upright. A sudden look on her face that was Obiyo Shinazaki. Sitting next to her was her hair, Miya Shinazaki. She was still young, no, young wasn't quite the right word. She was a girl who remained childish. Her role was to merely sit beside Obiyo Shinazaki, sometimes responding to her requests, however. She was the only one deemed worthy to succeed Obiyo. She had the same hawkish eyes enough to give pause to anyone who so much as looked at them. Much was expected of her in the future. This granddaughter to Shinazaki leaders. And also, on either side of her sat several other important members of the remaining families, the Kimiyoshi and the Furudu family. First on the list from the Kimiyoshi was, of course, the mayor of the Himazawa village, Kichiro Kimiyoshi. Lined up beside him was several more of his distant relatives. Opposite them sat the other of the two families, the Furudu family. The Furudu families were only composed of the family of a Shinto priest, so the only one sitting there was said priest, his wife, and their daughter Rika. Rika was started on by many of the older folks in the village, and it seemed that Oyo was no exception. While the stress from just attending a meeting council was said to be enough to shorten your lifespan by 3 days, it seemed like Rika was the only one exempt from that. No matter how charged the atmosphere was around, she paid it no mind, instead humming along as she doodled in a sketchbook. In fact, the night before lying on her stomach while humming and doodling, she nonchalantly tucked a leg into Orio's futon like it was a katsuru. All this was the three families, and all around the room, lined row upon row, were relatives of the Shinazaki family. The only one who were afforded cushion to sit on were distant direct relatives. The other ones were left to sit in the Caesar position directly on the tarmac mat. With the Emperor Shinazaki enshrined at their center, they were almost like a giant snake crawled around the room. It was decided that everyone would sit in order of their rank. The number of people from the Shinazaki family was overwhelming. The fact that the Shinazaki family had so many seats at a meeting where everything pertaining to the village was decided made determining where the balance of power held in the three families as clear as day. The number of members in attendance from each of the three families directly influenced how much influence they had in ruling Himazawa. So the Furudu has at least influence. Okay. What was talked about at the meeting? Saito-san, after remaining silent for a while, quietly began to speak. Wasn't that monetary gift of appreciation to the media a little large? Breaking the long moment of silence was the head of the Kimiyoshi family, Akihiro Kimiyoshi. The Onigochi Defense Alliance wasn't a business. They were nothing more than a private organization pushing for the cancellation of the Himazawa Dam project with no reliable sources of income. Fundraising had always been a problem. When they first started operating, they had managed to collect a sizable amount of funds through donations, but as the conflict dragged on, that amount was steadily declining. This isn't an area where you can just get what you want just by throwing stones. It's very important you don't underestimate the power of the media, and we want to balance some of that down the road. The expressions of people related to the Shinzaki family was sullen. As I once suggested that they should, but the power was the family head Obio Shinozaki. Battle wasn't just a force of arms. In this civilized age, there were civilized methods of fighting. Obio suggested that creating a strategy incorporating the mass media. Obio's foresight was spot on, and the effects of that plan were at first unclear slowly began to manifest. If the physical confrontation at the construction site was meant to delay progress on the dam by even by one day, and the propaganda war using the media was aimed at attacking the dam project itself. At first there were those who had doubts about the strategy. There was no one who called this result into questions. But in order to maintain those media ties, a colossal amount of money was required. As long as the amount of funds they had was abundant, things would turn out fine. It couldn't be argued that it was a massive expense, but the results spoke for themselves. But with the conflict continuing to drag on, the circumstances had changed. The head of Shinzaki family, the one who sat at the pinnacle of the Himazawa three families, Obio, had suggested the idea herself, so that Obio and Tachibana continue to be allowed to drain from the budget. Nobody acknowledged that it should be so allowed. But nobody could say anything. That was the price of dealing with the mass media. What do you think, Obio-san? The only one who could object to a plan proposed by the head of Shinazaki's household was probably Kimiyoshi. Obio, with a hard-to-define expression on her face, as if she had severed herself from the fetters of mortal emotion, simply listened quietly to Kimiyoshi's words. It would be as hard to tell if she was quietly listening or didn't even have any intention of listening at all. Last year we went through a lot of trouble in getting people to wrap their heads around the price hike on the bulletin we were putting out. We convinced them that it was just a one time. We just wouldn't do it if we do it again this year, right, Furudu-san? The mayor looked at the priest and his wife from the Furudu family for affirmation. The priest gave a vague expression avoiding a prompt response, but his wife gave a proper answer without a second thought. That's right. Because the bulletin boards are particularly harsh for the poor families, everyone is dealing with it for the sake of the village, but it's best we don't increase the prices anymore. The bulletin was, as its name implied, a bulletin published by the Higurashi Defense Alliance. It outlined the Alliance's activities, ideals, and resolve, but you couldn't deny the contents were rather piecemeal. The bulletin's main goal wasn't to inform people, but rather was something to sell businesses and people living in the village or connected to it, and using those sales to collect funds. In other words, it had become something of a tax. Of course, it didn't have said that this was one of the main sources of income for the Higurashi Defense Alliance. The original purchase was supposed to be voluntary, but it in Himizawa, it had suddenly become the opposite. In the neighboring towns as well, it just seemed that many businesses were buying copies just to avoid buying heads with the Alliance. The priest whispered to his wife to not say anything necessary, but was struck down decidingly with a cold glare. Coming from that glance, the priest shut his mouth. The priest's wife always held power in their relationship. That was because she was the one who carried the Fumudi bloodline. The priest really married into the family. He was nothing more than somebody who adopted the name just to do in the three families. He should have been able to find the spot fairly high in the hierarchy of things, but the lack of authority in his voice meant that he had still not gained any favor. Casting a backwards glare at her, a rather despaired parents, Rika continued to doodle whimsically without paying them any minds. Taken by a look of Obio, Mia brought her closer to her grandmother. There something was said to her in a quiet voice. After responding with a couple questions with nothing from Obio, Mia looked around the room and conveyed her grandmother's words. There will be no freezing on the price increase from the bulletin. Kimiyoshi made a face like he had just been into something unpleasant. That expression quickly disappeared like it had never happened at all. But Mia-chan, I think you already know this, but the cost of the bulletin is by no means easily affordable. It's a burden carried by everyone in Himazawa. If you make people carry too much of the burden, it's much of it will collapse from the inside. And who on the inside would start that collapse? Who? I didn't mean it like that. I'm asking, who would be the first to buckle? If you crossing down by a girl who's still fragments of childishness remaining with her, the words struck in Kimiyoshi's throat as he sunk into silence. He repeated the question once more, looking around the crowded room. Everyone refrained, making eye contact to avoid being pierced by her gaze. The words she had spoken were unarguably said in proxy for Oreo. That's why when Mion spoke them, carried the same weight. Why, you mean Satoko? But the look in her eyes was, um, different. I guess the Hojo family. Like, Oreos, they had a focused gaze, strong enough that anyone looking upon them was in their tracks and yield. But that gaze, without question, one that belonged to Mion herself, as Mion would eventually inherit everything from Oreo the day when she would stand as a young capable leader in her own right would come. Nobody wanted to believe otherwise for even a minute. That's why nobody even thought of Mion as just some sort of little kid. Like Kimiyoshi said, nobody will lose their resolve or something like a price hike on the bulletin. Kimiyoshi walked grumbling a little, and made a gesture as if she had no objections. The expenses related to the debt mass media will continue. If those expenses become too much, we'll have no choice but to continue the price hikes. Mion had rendered her judgment. Everyone bowed their heads and silently listened to her words. In the name of Mion Shinozaki as acting head of the Shinozaki household, Shinozaki family, I hereby declare that all of this shall be effective immediately. There shall be no objections and any opposition shall be removed by force. The formal decree was read out loud indicating her judgment. There would be no retrial, but there was a certain authority behind those words that even a courthouse couldn't compare to. If she was a judge, she would have banged her gavel, signaling that the matter was settled. Mion pulled out a large bell inside her clothes and rang it. I've heard this one before. Everyone present could only prostrate themselves before the harsh sound of the bell. But how is this related to the mayor's son? Maybe that's the next matter at hand. I don't know. Well, that's a rather old-fashioned family council, isn't it? A young guy like you probably find it hard to believe. In an antiquated place like this, these kind of things have firm roots. It was exactly as she had said. The old system of the three families had vanished, and now the Shinozaki family was ruling things by themselves. On top of that, their rule was borderline, despotic. Was that the end of the meeting? No, there's more. I'll continue. Eventually, after the ringing of the bell ceased, there was a deafening silence. Within all of that, a little man shuffled closer to Mion and whispered something into her ear. Mion asked several questions quietly in response. When she was satisfied, she motioned for the man to leave. The man who talked to Mion was a member of the gang that her father was the leader of. The organization had the entire area of Shinobun City under its control, so it was quite well known even here. Of course, this was talking about the criminal underworld, so it's not like just anyone would know. But just showing a patch with the gang symbol on it was enough to resolve any dispute in the neighborhood. Mion's biological father to Oreo was her daughter's husband. The power of that man's gang was the driving force that controlled the dark underbelly of the Onigaishi Defense Alliance. And so that man, in his position as the next in line to control the three families, continued to coerce everyone around him with his unconventional presence. Mion exchanged a look with her father. Was it okay for her to tell what she just heard directly to Oreo? It looked like she was asking him that question. Her father gently but firmly nodded in response. Mion also nodded, then slid up to Oreo and informed him of something. Eventually Mion finished conveying her message, separated herself from Oreo and flicked past her wing for Oreo to give a signal. It wasn't often that Oreo showed any emotion. That's why when she started to laugh quietly, a vague sense of unease crept over everyone in the room. That's quite the conundrum, isn't it? Oreo was laughing so happy that Kimiyoshi had to hesitantly ask, "What is it, Oreo-san?" If this land is like a mother to us, then this business with the dam is like someone threatening our mother's life, isn't it? Kimiyoshi, unable to comprehend the meaning of her words, looked confused. Oreo, with a wide grin on her face, turned towards everyone and addressed them in a clarion voice. The minister behind the dam project is apparently rattled over the kidnappings of his grandson. That makes us even. That's absurd. Information on the kidnapping of Mr. Inugi's grandson shouldn't have been leaked anywhere. How did they know? Even we didn't know much about the kidnapping incident. Exactly how did an antiquated household so far away from Tokyo come to know of it? It was a tranquil place, but I couldn't help but having an easy feeling about Himatsubushi village. At some point I had mentally filed this place away as unrelated to the incident at hand. That mental paperwork had just blown away in the wind. Apparently the Higurashi defense alliance know about that. Sato-san never to come with an answer fell into silence. I'm sorry, please continue. Sure. The Minister of the Council's Construction's grandson was kidnapped. Oh, yes-san, is that true? That major of an incident was nowhere to be seen in the newspaper or on TV. But in Himazawa, there's nothing strange about Oreo knowing something that the rest of the world didn't. Our pain is the pain of losing a mother. I don't think it's completely makes up for the pain of losing a grandchild. We'll have to bear with that for a bit. We'll have to bear with that for a bit, don't you think? The last question wasn't addressed to anyone in particular. It was as if she was looking for consensus. Still, land and a human child are different things. I don't mind hiding him here, but I want no harm to befall him. The child isn't to blame. Make sure to keep that in mind. That means that the Higurashi Defense Alliance were involved in the kidnappings. I can't say for certain why, even though their leader Oreo was clearly giving orders on the treatment of the kidnapped child. Lad, you see, this is what the Shinozaki family always does. Always does? What do you mean by that? Let's say there was a particular problem, one that wasn't exactly favorable for the Shinozaki family. If Oreo shows concern over that particular problem, hearing that somebody who attended the family council would be helpful. As a result, Oreo's wish would be granted. However, neither Oreo or anyone else would actually know who did it. With this kind of clever little ploy, the Shinozaki family was able to manipulate events even though they had their hands laid out on the table. Then that means somebody was at the family council was the culprit, or there's the possibility that there was never a culprit in the first place. Oreo Safin, that group full of people, didn't expect to say that somebody should pull off a kidnapping. She was just giving her opinion. It was an odd and uneasy, secretive way of doing things. Were they involved or weren't they? I couldn't see beyond the veil. This much, however, I could say with certainty. This kidnapping was an ironclad secret. No matter how high a position someone was in, even they wouldn't know about it. If there was somebody who would know about it, they would be connected to public safety. That was one of us. The only other option were people connected to the case itself, including the minister. There would be people affected by the incident, or people that committed it. In any case, there was no way an old household in a place away from Tokyo by over 6 hours of high travel should know about it. Them knowing about it at all was very strange. My suspicions began to accumulate, like falling snow. That's as much as Oreo said in regards to the kidnapping. Hopefully what you find out, hopefully what you wanted to find out was in there. After this is up to you. I don't know what kind of work you're doing, but if you're going up against the Shinozaki family, you'd best prepare yourself. Ushi might be fearless, but even he's been attacked 2 or 3 times. He hadn't been wearing it lately, but at some point he was wearing a stab-proof vest while off duty. Oh? Thanks for the warning, I'll be careful. You speak pretty well. Are you from Tokyo by any chance? Huh? What's your point? Investigators were always close to danger. It's best not to divulge any information on myself. My job. Could it be you possibly be someone from the Metropolitan Public Safety Division? He could have remained silent here, it would be the same as admitting it. Huh? No way. This wasn't accounted for in the money I got from the boss, but as someone who played at the same table today, I'll give you this little one as a freebie. After Oreo talked about the kidnapping, there was one other topic that came up, another topic that Oreo brought up, and right before he told me this, Sato asked if I was from the Metropolitan Public Safety Division. In other words, what those 2 things meant caused a chill to run down my spine. So you see, that in order to investigate the kidnapping of the minister's grandson, there's word that there will be an investigator from the public safety dispatched all the way from Tokyo. An investigator from public safety? They can't be reckless and make a big deal over the kidnapping. It seems the Metropolitan Public Safety Division is investigating this in their own way. Ain't that grand? What is it? Vika, who had been drawing the entire time, I was completely uninterested in the conversation up until now, looked at Oreo with an interested face as soon as the topic of public safety came up. Did the Metropolitan Police come? Oh, so Vika knows about the Metropolitan Police Department. That's very admirable. Who came? Is there anyone that knows what kind of guy from public safety came here? Young's father raised his hand slightly. I heard it's a nice young piece of fresh meat. Fresh meat? Is it nice and tender? Yes it is. Fresh meat. Mia's father smiled wearily as he answered Rika's question. Tender and tasty. Yeah, tender and tasty. Rika smiled with interest. Why did Rika suddenly act interested only when it came to this topic? That was a question that apparently no one had an answer to. Does Rika-chan know something about this man? I don't know. After her rather flat reply, Rika buried herself underneath Orio's futon again. But when she buried herself, Rika no longer started drawing. Instead, she was making an expression like she was deep in contemplation. What shall we do about him, mother? Mion's father posed the question. He had a typo uncallous expression on his face, indicating that given the order he would snuff the problem out at any time. He came all the way to Himazawa. Let him take it easy for a while. So you're saying just let him go around as he pleases? Mion's father asked in response. Obvious smiled thinly as she responded. Leave him alone, but if he starts causing too much mischief when that happens, don't hold back. I don't enjoy being taken lightly. Is that what they talked about? Is that what they talked about, apparently? It couldn't be that you're the fresh meat from the Metropolitan Police, are you? It couldn't be. The sensation of cold, bristling fear began to crawl all its way up my back. This family council took place last night. In other words, yesterday. Then today, when I dressed up as a tourist and headed to Himazawa, my coat was already blown. Oh, so I just took like a nap or something? I see. So that did happen today. My timing was a bit messed up then. When I first remembered the first person I met as I got to the bus stop, I couldn't breathe. The person at the family council who expressed interest in the men being dispatched from the Metropolitan Police was Rika Furudu, and then the person who was waiting for me the whole time in the bus shelter, Rika Furudu. It was an unthinkable image. No, it wasn't a delusion. When we met at the bus stop, did Rika-chan already know my true identity? Did she know I was Asaka-san dispatched from the Metropolitan Police Department and came to meet me? Then, including Mayor Kimiyoshi, every villager that I met, everyone knew but just pretended not to? Because Obiya had given instructions not to interfere? Thinking about it logically, it didn't seem possible. I met quite a number of people. If there's people who are good at acting, then there's people who are bad at hiding things. If there were that many people, then it should have been someone among them who knew us from the public safety and couldn't hide their hostility. But I didn't feel any presence like that. But then, even still, why did Arya tell them to leave me alone? Was it because they were too careless about it? It would only raise more suspicion? Or was it because they believed a rookie like me wouldn't be able to find anything? Asaka-san is a coward. I recall that strange voice, which could only make you believe that Rika-chan had been possessed. That unknown entity, no matter how you looked at it, knew my true identity from the get-go. And then how did it warn me again? That's right. It warned me to hurry up and go back to Tokyo. Instead of the realistic worry that Onigaoshi Defense Alliance had discovered my identity, the absurd worry brought on by the unknown girl struck with me even more. What exactly was that girl? What was the thing I would eventually regret? That mysterious girl, Rika Furudu. Let's stop this. Everything I was thinking of right now was merely conjecture. Tomorrow, the first thing in the morning, I'll report everything I heard right now to the HQ and await further orders. There's no mistaking that the possibility the Onigaoshi Defense Alliance was related to this case was there, and that the fact that my cover was blown meant I was in a precarious position. But as everyone at the HQ was already extremely busy, they might not be able to spare the support. Is that everything? If you want, I can drop you off whenever you like. Ah, sorry, in that case, the station where we originally met, please. A rural road where even a street light was there. I couldn't see anything. I wasn't aware of anything but the asphalt that was lit up by the headlights. Aside of that light, was it simply darkness? Or was there something lurking there waiting to strike? I had to think I'd do the short straw here. I wanted to go back to Tokyo, but for some reason, the voice of the girl warning me to go back to Tokyo still lingered in my head. Higurashi when they cry, I'm guessing? Yeah, okay. Probably gonna get a kidnapping tip again. I don't know. Probably gonna get 3, I'm guessing, because I got 3 the other 2 times. Let's see. Yeah, I got 3. What's in the box? The glint of a demon's eye. The investigations run aground. Mahjong tragedy. That's me, I guess. Investigations run aground, I guess. Okay. Yeah! Yesterday we met at the restaurant in, Ginza. The topic popped up. What topic? The investigation running aground? They're overstepping their boundaries, isn't it? They're meddling too much with public safety. If they keep doing that, they're going to set a bad precedent. Seems that Minister Inigu is publicly uncomfortable about the way public safety is doing things. The Minister is probably going to say something up to the effect that during Monday's debate session, but what can we do? We can only have the director address the Vice Minister. That's why we pay him the big bucks. If it comes to that, they're going to ask him for the proof of the ministers being threatened. Something I don't know what side he's on. If he's not on ours, then what? Well, he's probably getting some pressure from the minister. We'll probably just have to proceed with the investigation while he sweats it out in the Vice Minister's office and buys us some time. He might get so wrung out to try it out all the speed after our dreads though. So how's the investigation going? All the juicy leads I was pinning my hopes on turned out to be duds. Honestly, I'm at a loss. The reports that the Himatsubushi Dam project had shown up a lot lately in the minister's press release. So what about that? Well, you say showing up, but it's really more of like being as something strange. He just so happened to mention it during his president at the XX preference form. So it just might have something to do. So this might have been something that he was mentioning because it's relevant at the time. If I remember correctly, a local organization there was protesting quite violently, you know? The Onigo Defense Alliance? I think Akaza-san was investigating that. I think those guys could possibly be behind what's happening now. Even if you can't say there's anything overly suspicious about them, it might not be prudent to remove them from the picture. Asaka-san reported in passing that he couldn't deny that possibility. Then isn't there merit on investigating them? We're going through everything with a fine tooth comb, so if they're one of the suspicious groups that have left, we'll eventually have to. Well, they're not the only group we should investigate, right? If we're just talking about groups, there are as suspicious as Onigarushi. There's quite a few of them. We don't have the men, the time, or the money for it all. I'll try asking for more details from Asaka-san. I feel like we should pay some extra attention to this defense alliance. He's reported that he's established a rapport with the villagers. It also seems that he's collaborating with the local police. Keep your contact with Asaka-san on the deep low. Also, if there's anything in his information that merits investigations, it's possible we could send reinforcements. Got it. Sorry, Chief Keiko. There's a phone call from the director. Should I transfer it over here? Oh no, it's okay. I'll head over there. Yes, hello? I wonder if they're gonna cut my line when I go to my room. Maybe. What's in the box? And the glint of a demon eye. What's in the box? This is not the kidnapping one, because it's red. Do you believe there are choices in life? There are many people who lament this following. If there only exist points in life where there were clear choices to make, we would be able to scrutinize those carefully and make decisions that will lead us to a better future. But I don't know, because I don't know where every single choice will lead me. So I don't know which one will be a better future. Every time I hear people lament as such, I cast it off as rather trivial worry. Even if you were given clear choices, it wouldn't be meaningful at all, and there wouldn't be any such path to a better future. Is this hard to understand? Like, this isn't a visual novel. I can't just go back to an earlier save if I mess up. Then let's pretend that in front of you there are two strange boxes. In other words, you have two clear choices. Do you open the red box or the blue box? A lot of things would be uncertain, even with that choice, wouldn't they? If you had if you had the option of opening neither, then your choice boils down to the initial impulse of opening the box that holds a better result for you. And after examining the shape and features of each and pondering a great many things, you have to pick either the red or blue. If this was you, which box would you open? Red or blue? If you were to go with traditional means, then red would be a dangerous, threatening color. However, that doesn't automatically mean that it would be calm and relaxing inside the blue box either. In fact, it might even be that the colors are a trap and make you wary of the red box. Have you opened the blue? A trap? Could it just be the contents of the box aren't a reward but rather a penalty? See, now you're at a loss. So conflicted over the choice between red and blue that you started wishing that there was an option to open neither and just leave. But there isn't. You have to open either the red or blue box. Oh, I forgot to say this, but if you choose one box, the other will disappear. So you never know the contents of the box you didn't open. I'll just put that as a rule. I'll just put that the rule at the end there for you. Now, why don't you choose the red box or the blue box? It's alright if you don't lose anything by picking either one. Come on now. Oh. Well, I could go back and choose the other one, but I'm not gonna do that. I like the color red, so I'll pick the red box. I don't like the color blue. Have you thought about it? In the end, you chose this color, didn't you? As soon as you chose, the other box disappeared. Bye-bye, blue box. So you can give up on the contents of that one. That's the rule. Now open the box you chose. Inside the box there was a piece of caramel. I know you're a little disappointed. Well, that's only natural. No matter how you look at it, it looks like you drew the dud. Maybe I didn't. You know? Maybe the blue box had a disease that would instantly, gas that would instantly kill me or something. And now I got free caramel. The correct box might have been a bar of chocolate in it, for all you know. No, in fact, something incredible like a pair of tickets to Hawaii might have been in there. But even if you wanted to verify that, the other box had already disappeared. There's no way you can check now. But if you think about it, from an optimistic point of view, just maybe the other box was empty and this box was the winner. And being satisfied, or perhaps not, with such a cheap price, you pop into your mouth and start chewing it happily. So what do you think in the end? If you were given a second chance, would you try to open the other box? I would not. But unfortunately, the chance to choose between the red box and the blue box had come and gone, never to be seen again. The chance to change your selection would never come. Don't your parents often say, every choice you make in your life only happens once, so choose carefully? Hee 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 hee. See? Choices aren't that great after all. Aren't you a little disillusioned now? Yeah, ha 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 ha. Alright. Next is The Glint in the Demon's Eye. Kidnapping. Yeah, this is not the kidnapping place, this is Orio's place. Or Mion's, I guess. So the wake will be from 6 PM tomorrow and the service will be the day after from noon. The venue will be Akinomiya Ceremonial Hall, or what is this? I see. It's Deputy Mayor Ikawa's grandson's funeral we are talking about. We have to pay our respects. Mion, I'll have you go in my stead. Okay, I got it. Should I wear, mountain clothes? How much should I bring for the funeral offering? You can go in your school uniform. Make sure you button it up properly. For the money, 50... No, 100,000 yen. They've done a lot for us. Mion quietly whistled in awe at the exorbitant amount of money her grandmother was offering. Izawa-san's been a prudent person ever since his days as head of the Akinomiya medical office. Even if those government types paid me a visit, they would always stay outside. But whenever I offered Isawa a cup of tea, he'd come in and carefully listen to what I had to say. He always lent a proper ear to what happened. Others should learn from a person like him. The two guests made a show of nodding, making it clear that they were paying attention to as Orio's as eminence. The sight of them trying not to get on Orio's bad side was humorous, and a little laugh from Mian occasionally. How young was Deputy Mayor Ikawa's grandson when he died? 11 years old apparently. Orio closed her eyes and shook her head lightly, lamenting the loss of such a young life. If I recall correctly, he said he only had one grandchild. How sad. There's nothing worse for a parent than outliving their offspring. You're really nice to other people, Granny. If Fiona and I died, would you be this sad? Don't be stupid. Saying something like that is just bad luck. Having got the reaction she expected, Mian cackled. The two guests were unsure if they were supposed to laugh along, instead forced awkward smiles. We'll take our leave for today, then. Oh, we'll be by tomorrow evening at 5 o'clock to pick you up. Well, until then, please excuse us. After bowing their heads repeatedly, the guests left by the front door. Mian saw them off, waving her a little hand goodbye. They're gone. It must be rough for them to pay you a courtesy visit, Granny. It would have been fine if they just broke the news over the phone. While it was fine, true that Orio Shinozaki was a center person for both her relatives and the residents of Himazawa village as a whole. As a voting bloc, they numbered in the several thousand. It wasn't hard to imagine the mayor would try to pander to her. Unlike Mion, however, Orio was looking up longingly at the sky from the vendetta. What's the matter? Are you going senile? I just thought that no matter how his grandchild was, I'd feel sorry for them. Saying that, she let out a deep sigh. Mion was let down, as normally her grandmother would have scolded her for an attitude. Mion, you know that minister's grandson? How long has it been since he's been abducted? 4 days, maybe. Orio let out another deep sigh. He may be the grandchild of our bitter enemy, but I still feel sorry for him. Really? That's enough of a warning. We should bring this to an end soon. The playful expression drained from Mion's face. leaving behind a stern one. And then, as if to assert Orio's will, looked into her eyes. Oreo expressing her intention with only those eyes looked back into Mion's. I want some tea. Could you go for some? Some of that chocolate too. Mion gave a small nod and then turned around. Shimako-san, are you there? Grandma wants some tea. Could you prepare some? From far away, a voice responded in the affirmation. Mion, after confirming she'd been heard, picked up the phone and began dialing. Hello? This is Mion. Yeah. Is my father there? Oh, you're gonna help the grandson? Hmm? That's my job. They're taking my job. I can't believe this. Okay, I guess that's it for this time, so bye bye.